Hey, David, my man, it's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
Doing great. Nice to be here.
Beautiful, my man, and thank you so very much for being here. You see, I truly appreciate you. And you see, David, oftentimes I love to thank my guest for two things, and I do this so often to the point where it has become my anthem. So, firstly, I want to say thank you so very much, David, for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now because you did invest it in yourself. And oftentimes, my man, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. You see, some couple of months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, David, there was this very tall, unattractive mango tree. And I use the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves were all dry. So I just walked past it and I went my way. But you see, David, just recently I was on that same road, and this time around, hmm, a lot's changed about the mango tree. The mango tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance, and immediately I got the urge to move so close to it, of which I did, and it wowed me. Because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches, and not just mangoes, David. I'm talking about ripe mangoes. It was such a lovely experience that day. I was so excited. I tell you, my man, here's my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing David that you are today, that alone has made it really impossible for me to skip you. And that's why you got the request from me to be on the show because I was attracted to the fruit of all that you're doing, your insights, your philosophies, how you're offering your solutions, the impact your work is having. These stuffs are amazing. And just before you got the request from me, I said to myself, I've got to benefit from these beautiful things David is doing, not only me now, but even with the audience. And here we had a day with the amazing David. So thank you so very much for doing that yourself. And secondly, thank you for saying yes to the invite. Because if David had said nope, there was nothing Elisha could do about it. Thanks so much, my man.
That is a wonderful story. When it comes to food, I always have said mangoes make everything better.
I tell you,
And
my
so
man, that's
I
right.
like this story.
That's so true, my man. Mangoes. Mm-mm-mm. I love it. Awesome. So let's get started, David. You see, I'm quite excited to have you on the show today for two reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, David, I believe it takes the application of knowledge. And not just knowledge now, but the application of it. And you see, my man, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very, very important to me and even to the listeners. And the second reason why I'm excited to have the amazing David on the show is for the sake of the audience. You see, my man, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got a lot of information flying out there. So these folks trust me for quality, eye-opening, and very important information, of which I am totally convinced, David, that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So for that reason, my man, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or your professional journey, because right now we are so curious. We want to know how David got here. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, David, my man, over to you.
Well, I've always been interested in chronic health problems. Originally, I was a physical medicine and rehabilitation doctor, and I subspecialized in spinal cord injury rehabilitation, where everybody that I would see was be paralyzed from either the waist down or the neck down, and very complicated situation. Every part of the body's involved, and there's just not a lot of medications that can help these folks, and they're very sensitive to medication side effects. And so you try to help them with all these different health issues, and you could run out of options, and or options would tend to work, but not nearly as well as you wanted. And so 3, 4 decades ago, I'm like, okay, wouldn't it be lovely if there was something out there that could help these people that I didn't learn about in my traditional training? And wouldn't it be lovely if that something didn't have side effects? And one thing that kept coming up was acupuncture, which could help everything basically, had no side effects. And so I said, okay, well, I'm going to train in this acupuncture and see if I can help these folks. Well, oh my gosh, I trained out of UCLA, University of Southern California, board certified in acupuncture. Oh my gosh, it worked so much better than I ever thought it would. But then that got me thinking, so what else is out there that I didn't learn about in my traditional training that can help people? And oh my gosh, kind of like you alluded to, there is so much knowledge, so much information out there about, not only what drives chronic health issues, but what can reverse the chronic health issues or prevent them from happening in the first place. So much more information out there than I ever thought there would be that I didn't learn about in my traditional training. And so I've been on a multi-decade quest here to learn as much as I can about how to prevent and reverse chronic disease, including autoimmune disease. But oh my gosh, there's so much information out there, but people don't use the information. A lot of these studies that are groundbreaking 10, 20, 30 years ago, but people just don't know the data, don't know the science, and don't use it in everyday life.
Beautiful, my
Hello
man.
again, Elijah.
Yeah, my man. Can you hear me? So sorry about that. My network went
No,
off.
no
So,
worries.
thank you. I said that's a beautiful word, and thank you for the wonderful stuff that you're doing. So you mentioned something that I'm curious about, which is okay, let me put it like this. What is autoimmune disease and why does it happen?
So traditionally, autoimmune disease was considered this part of the immune system. The part of the immune system makes antibodies to attack things that ideally are not us and get rid of them. So, like if a virus gets into our body, that virus is not us. And the immune system should make an antibody to go after and kill that virus and knock it out of the body so that if we get a viral infection, we don't have it for 30 years. We have it for maybe a couple days, right? But then when things happen in a certain way, the immune system will start making antibodies against our own body parts. So we actually start attacking our own body parts. And any body part can be attacked. And so this is why when I talk about autoimmune disease, I say there's not hundreds and hundreds of different autoimmune diseases. It's really just one autoimmune disease that can attack any body part. But also, this is why it's so easy if you don't fix why, the root cause of why you start attacking one body part and stop the attacking, well, then you just start attacking a second body part and a third and a fourth and a fifth. And I've seen 8-year-old children with 4 autoimmune diseases, 20-year-old women with 6 autoimmune diseases. And so that's not the traditional model. But now we know that the immune system also is very, very important at controlling excessive inflammation. And if any body part gets excessive inflammation, that body part starts getting destroyed by that inflammation. And so this is where we go, okay, well, we have all the traditional autoimmune diseases, but also this immune system disruption autoimmune disease is also what drives heart attacks and strokes. It drives Alzheimer's and dementia.
Really?
It drives thinning of the bones like osteoporosis. 70% of all autism is one particular autoimmune disease. And so we now know that this immune system disruption is part of every chronic disease. And so since I've been diving into this and we now know all this new information, I'm like, well, this is even more important than I thought it was when I first really started my drive to change the way that autoimmune disease is dealt with worldwide. It
Wow.
involves everything, not just what we thought it did traditionally.
Oh my. I never knew that. Okay. So how then do we prevent autoimmune disease, especially in children?
So ideally, the body naturally prevents autoimmune disease. The body is always trying to move towards wellness, always trying to fix and repair and self-correct, and that's just what it does. But then there's very specific things, and the science is very clear, fortunately, about what these things are that will disrupt that. And now the body cannot self-correct. It cannot heal something that gets damaged. And then the ball starts rolling the wrong way, and we end up with these autoimmune diseases. But knowing that, we know what we need to do ideally to prevent this stuff. Now, this is a worldwide epidemic. Everything that I just kind of mentioned health wise, there's a worldwide epidemic of it. Guys are having heart attacks in their 20s. People are getting colon cancer in their 20s when it used to be in their 60s and 70s. Autism is so common nowadays. Autoimmune diseases, all the classic ones, so common nowadays, including like type 1 diabetes, where people need insulin pumps and insulin shots. It's an epidemic. It's an absolute epidemic. They used to call it childhood onset diabetes because it only happened in children. Well, now it happens in adults. And rather than the powers that be saying, oh my gosh, how can adults get a childhood disease? We got to figure this out. All the powers that be did was, well, we can't call it childhood onset diabetes anymore. So we're going to change the name to type 1 diabetes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you missed the point. The point isn't that the name had to be changed. The point is, why do adults get a childhood disease, for example? And so these epidemics, and but we know why, and we know how to reverse it, including, reversing all these things, type 1 diabetes, autoimmune disease, all these kind of things that typically people are told, if you have this, you're stuck with it forever.
Mm, mm,
First off, they're told we have no idea why you got it. And secondly, usually people are told there was no way we can make it go away when that's just not the case. Just not the case.
my, I tell you, knowledge is light. Okay, what about this one? I'm not sure I'm going to pronounce it well, but let's try. What is epigenetics? Is it epigenetic?
Oh, yeah. So epigenetics.
Epigen.
So very important concept in how the body keeps itself healthy, corrects things. And so in our cells, we have our genes, our DNA, our chromosomes. And the chromosomes, the DNA, tell the cells what to do. Now, we used to think the chromosomes are long chains of genes. Each gene tells the cell what to do. We used to think that our genes were hardwired. Whatever we got, good, bad, or otherwise, from our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents. And when you see health problems in your ancestors, you think, well, I hope I didn't get their bad genes. I hope I got their good genes. Because I don't want that stuff, right? Whether it's cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes, whatever it is. Well, it turns out it's not what genes we have. It's which ones get turned on and turned off. And so this is epigenetics, the things that alter gene expression without changing the genetic code itself. And so it turns out that everybody, every cell in our body, every chromosome, every DNA strand has tons of bad genes. Well, they also have tons of good genes. So everybody's got tons of bad and good genes. What the body has to do is it has to turn off the bad and turn on the good. And if we can do that, we stay healthy. If all these things that drive chronic disease, and they all do it this way, they turn off the good and start turning on the bad. And it happens in every cell in the body at the same time. And so this is where it's so easy once you get one health issue to get a second and a third and a fourth and a fifth, because all the cells are being told the wrong information because of changes in epigenetics. And so a big thing that body tries to do naturally is to turn bad genes off, keep them turned off, keep the ones turned on. So the body, like let's say the good bacteria in the gut, a lot of people talk about the intestinal microbiome, the mix of good, bad bugs in the gut. Well, the good bacteria make something called butyrate, butyrate. It's called a short chain fatty acid. It almost exclusively works through epigenetics. It turns off bad genes and turns on good genes, every cell in the body at the same time. This is why butyrate will prevent and kill cancer cells 5 different ways. It's great for the eyes, the brain, the lungs, all over the place. the liver makes something called TUDCA, capital TUDCA. TUDCA works through epigenetics. It flips bad genes off, good genes on every cell in the body. Well, when problems have happened in the body, maybe the liver won't make as much TUDCA. Like a preterm baby, a baby born 36, 35 weeks, liver doesn't make as much TUDCA as a term baby, 40 weeks, while a preterm infant is much more likely to get type 1 diabetes as a kid, type 2 diabetes as an adult. All these kind of things. Well, if a child has jaundice where they turn a little yellow at the time they're born, the liver got damaged, it's not making TUDCA, they're so much more likely to get type 1 diabetes too. But there's all these different things that can happen to make it hard for the liver to make TUDCA, the good bacteria to make butyrate. All these things that the body's trying to make to turn the genes the right way are not there like they should. And so this is where you can actually take butyrate and TUDCA as a capsule. You can take it as a supplement. And now you're giving the body what it needs to optimize to fix this epigenetic problem. Well, now the body can fix anything. And by fixing everything, well, now the good bacteria in your gut make the butyrate all by itself. Now your liver makes the TUDCA all by itself. You don't even need the supplement forever. You just need it long enough to get the body to be able to fix things, and then the body takes over. And then ideally, it stays healthy that way too. And we're not putting a bandage on anything. We're actually just giving the body what it would usually make to stay healthy, but it can't. Well, now it has what it needs. Now it'll get healthy, and now it's in a good position to stay healthy. And by optimizing epigenetics in a person, not only in the person themselves, they get healthy and stay healthy, but if you can optimize epigenetics before somebody has a child, before conceiving a child, you're actually passing on cleaner genes, healthier genes to the next 6 to 8 generations. You're impacting the next generations of your family by fixing the system in this way.
Wow. Amazing, David. No one ever taught me this, I tell you. This is sounding really new to me. Wow. Thank you for sharing, my man. I've got a clap for you. So we have one more to go, okay? So why do you say the aches and pains of aging should only start at 90?
Well, the body is so smart, self-correcting, healing, fixing anything. Something happens in our life that we wouldn't wish on our worst enemy, the body can fix it, right? Well, if it can do that like it should, we shouldn't even feel like we're getting old until at least 90. Now, I have people that come in their 50s and they say, well, I think I'm getting old. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Nothing is age related until at least 90. It's something. We should be able to figure out what that something is and fix it. But you don't feel bad at age 50 because you're getting old. But then again, I have people in their 20s come in and say, I think I'm getting old. No, that's just not how it works. There's something going on. The body is too smart to let itself start to break down before we're at least 90. And actually, a lot of the newer work the last decade in longevity, not just lifespan, living longer, but health span, living longer, healthier lives, actually suggests that maybe the body's designed to self-correct so well that old age, breakdown because of age, maybe it doesn't start until 105, 107 years of age. That's how good the body is at self-correcting. But that's also why it's so good at fixing things when we're in our 20s and 40s and 60s and 80s and all that, because that's how it's supposed to work. And there's no reason we can't get the body to be in a position then to fix itself, basically no matter what age we are.
Now I understand. Well, thank you for sharing that. So to bring this to an end, David, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those folks who would like to reach out to you, learn more about everything we've discussed, or even ask you questions, how can that be possible?
Yeah, thank you. So I think it's very important that people know we know where chronic health issues come from. We know the science is clear how to reverse them. So don't let anybody ever tell you that your health problem, you're stuck with it forever. And I think that's a very important thing to know. But also I want to teach people why they get health issues and how they can reverse it. So for example, on my website, which is dralzheimer.com, davidbilstrom.com, we have a free online educational email course, which is 7 emails. A person will get 1 email a day for 7 days. So you can go through it as fast or slow as you want. Each one's only about a 6 to 8 minute read, but each one takes a deep dive into why health problems happen, including the very first one's about epigenetics. But then we teach people why they don't feel well, or why their child doesn't feel well, or why their aging parent doesn't feel well. But then we teach you how to address it yourself. Because truly, the body is so smart. It's a lot. I always talk about the body. It's super, super complicated, but it's also super, super logical. And you don't have to be a medical person to understand the logic. If you're just looking out your window, you can see the logic of how the world happens. That's the same logic going on inside of us, right? And I think oftentimes people go, "Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. That's why I'm not feeling well, because that's so logical." So I love people to know why they don't feel well. I love people to have the tools to actually fix it themselves, and that's why we do what we do, what I do, because I want to change the way this is dealt with around the world.
Beautiful. So can you repeat your website once more?
Sure. So it's DR, like in United States, DR means doctor. So drdavidbilstrom.com, my name.
All right, beautiful. So that's going to be the end of the show, David. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing this beautiful stuff with us. It means a whole lot, my man. Thank you.
Thank you, Elijah. So nice to be here.